It began with desire, stirrings, rainbow-like, originating from the middle, traveling upwards, later translated into preferences, some particular, some holistic. Then the concept of communication through silence, the ecstasy of soul union, divine love, dhyanam, third eye, the beyond. But how long this illusion, this auto-suggestion, the moment the eyes closed for dhyanam, faces appeared, bodies, lips, breasts, cunts, groping hands, cursing feet, and the soul evaporated into desire ultimately. Desire ultimately. This is a poem from Professor S.A. Hamid's recent poetry collection, The Ontology of Desire, which includes some new and selected poems taken from his earlier poetry collection, namely Autumn Rainbow, No Man's Land, and Desire Ultimately. Professor Hamid works as professor of English at the Almora campus of Kumayu University, Uttarakhand, India. His Janmbhumi is Lucknow. Lucknow is known for refined culture, manners, and extreme politeness. His roots are in Lucknow, but the branches that give fruits are in Almora. Desire, 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 desire will awaken my destiny. Desire. Everywhere there is a play of desire. A man who has a burning desire can do anything, can do miracle. Professor Hamid is a poet of desire and intuition. He has given an ontology to desire, desire which is an abstract idea, has been given a concrete shape. That is the magic of the pen of Professor Hamid. Almost every poem has this concept of desire, whether this is the desire of woman or desire for associating with roots or desire for anything. In every poem, desire is everywhere. The poet Hamid associates himself with his roots. Desire has become a being, almost a being. But the poet Hamid is not satisfied with this desire as being. He takes it to being, capital being. It's a journey from being, small b, to being, capital B, from physical to spiritual. Physical leads to spiritual. Sometimes it happens that those who begin with spiritualism ultimately get lost. They are lost somewhere. They fail to sublimate their desire. But Professor Hamid has given the clue how we can sublimate our desire. How can we turn our desire from being into being, capital being. pain or pleasure. The things that begin with pleasure ends in pain. But the things that begin in pain comes to the word of joy, comes to the word of ecstasy. This is the magic of sublimation. Professor Hamid has given the concept of desire in his poems. I welcome Professor Hamid, sir,
Thank you so much.
to Creation and Criticism. Sir, we want to know what is the role of desire in your poems? Do you find any criteria? How can we sublimate desire from physical to spiritual? Sir, we will be thankful to you if you highlight this concept of desire in your poem, sir. Sir.
Dr. Arora, first of all, I thank you for your kind words and appreciation. And
Welcome, sir.
And to be associated, I am very happy to be associated with Creation and Criticism.
Thank you, sir.
And the question that you have put up, you see, during the course of my life, I am 60 plus. We always start with the body
Right,
in
sir.
the beginning.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Sensuousness, sexual
Sensuousness.
pleasure.
Right, sir.
But then there is a concept floating right from childhood that there has to be something beyond the body, beyond the mind, which is often talked about as soul. Or in another sense, it is talked about as God. So that search for the divine, when you're not satisfied with this, with the going on of your day-to-day life, then you perhaps look upwards. So I also experimented with this, you can say.
Wow.
So, but I ultimately, as you have read out this poem, that going into this dhyanam and this divine and third eye. So I tried all these concepts, the techniques that have been taught to us by mystics, by the various religions, and but I ultimately, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, returned to the desire again.
Desire again. Desire again.
So
Desire
that's
again.
why I've called it desire ultimately. So
Very
all
candid expression, sir. Very candid expression. Yes, sir.
So that way, it is perhaps an attempt at sublimation, but it ended up towards a more refined kind of desire.
Refined kind of desire.
Not the kind of desire that I started with, but a more refined kind of desire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, sir please highlight this concept of desires in some other poems.
So there are two other poems which
Right.
deal with this, which has the word desire in its title. One is Desire, and the other is Ontology of Desire, which is the title of this book, of this fourth book of poems. In the book Desire is projected as a kind of, what is Freud called id.
Yeah.
You see, the forbidden thing.
Yes, yes, yes. Forbidden thing. Yes, yes,
And
yes, yes.
there is always a tug of war between desire and respectability, the expectations of society. So we want to give in to desires, but the expectations of society, or what we call the respectability thing. We want all to be called as respectable people. Now, this respectability is the biggest hurdle in the realization of your self, even,
Right, sir. Right, sir.
because you have to create a persona, for
Yes,
you,
sir, 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 sir.
and ultimately, you get lost sometimes in your persona. So the function of a poet is to
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
take off that mask as far as possible and probe deeper and come face to face with your
Yes,
desires.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is there in this poem titled Desire. And the ontology of desire is a kind of a definition of the progress of desire.
Progress of desire.
Starting from the beginning when you are young, and now when you are, you see, around 60 or
Yes,
something
yes.
like that,
Yes.
desire still remains.
Yes.
But it is a different kind of a desire. It's a very refined desire, more, if you call it a kind of a erotic desire.
Erotic desire.
Yes, the poem is very erotic.
Erotic.
But the eroticism is not lust. It is a kind of a mixture of love and eroticism. So that way, you want to give more than you want to take,
Right, sir. Right, sir.
and it is a kind of a sadhana as in Zen Buddhism.
Yes, 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 yes. Sadhana, no doubt.
That kind of eroticism that I've tried to project in this poem, the ontology of desire.
Ontology of desire. Sir, do you believe in separation of desire or expression of desire? All the persons have desire, but they suppress. How far this suppression of desire is reflected in the personality of the
No, if you
persons? And you have just mentioned the mask. Whether they just have the mask,
The persona.
yeah, persona. Yeah, yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Yes,
No,
sir.
this the problem is that one must express one's desire.
One's desire.
You may not realize all your desires. So then there is a desire for freedom.
Desire
It is
for
there
freedom.
in
Yes,
many
yes.
of my poems.
Yes, 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 yes.
And there's a craving for freedom. But when you're living in a society, you have a family, you have,
Yes, sir.
workplace,
Yes,
you
yes,
do
sir.
so many things.
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes,
that
sir.
freedom, of course, there is always a conflict between the individual and your desire for freedom and this world and this society and your responsibilities.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But I think you slowly go towards that kind of a non-attachment that you talk about in the Bhagavad Gita. perhaps. So that kind of a state
State. Yes, sir. Yes.
where you can attain freedom
Freedom, sir. Yes,
to
sir.
at least a higher degree
Yes,
than otherwise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where
Yes,
you are still in the world but not of it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A certain kind of a detachment.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have gone through your poems. You have turned desire into a woman. I have gone through the lines like evenings as she sips her whiskey, my hands relaxing her body, neck to the toes, the whispers of my heart, the commands of my brain, guiding my hands, her eyes, intoxicated with whiskey and desire, and her perfect lips breaking into a smile, my only reward. So, how is it possible for you, or what technique do you use that you just give a concrete shape to an abstract idea? Very minute observation.
Yes.
Very minute observation.
Thank you.
Very, very, very,
Thank
very,
you
very,
so much.
very, very minute
But,
observation.
You see, I have been, right from the beginning when I have been writing poetry, I have tried to use concrete imagery.
Yes,
So-
yes, sir, yes, sir.
I read somewhere, I think it's Ransom's essay or some such critic. He's tried to differentiate between science and literature.
Literature.
So science moves from the concrete to the abstract, and poetry moves from the abstract to the concrete.
Right.
You start with an abstract idea and then you move towards a concrete expression of that.
Right, concrete.
Only then it is realized in the mind or psyche of the reader.
Right.
Then the psycho-emotional response is created. And if you are very abstract, then that kind of a psycho-emotional response perhaps would not be created. So I have made the attempt to use such imagery that would strike, and it comes from inside me. I don't cook it up or something like that. And perhaps the expectation is that it would strike a psycho-emotional response in the reader.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, thank you, sir. Sir, you live in the lap of nature, Almora.
It's a beautiful place.
Beautiful place, no doubt. Sir, when you see the imagery or natural objects, what kind of desire do you have at that time?
You see, when you look at these mountains, if you look at the sea, if you stand on the seaside or you stand in the midst of these mountains, you feel you're a very small thing, very small, infinitesimal unit in this world. All that idea about human beings being so, powerful and whatnot, you feel just a small pygmy in this entire creation of nature, and it gives you a feeling of humility, of being humble, of surrender, and that helps you, because without surrender poetry doesn't come, literature doesn't come.
Yes.
So I think that helps me in writing poetry, because my poetry has flowered in Almora.
Almora.
I owe a lot to this
Yeah,
city.
to the city. Yes, 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 sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, desire is a desire. The moment it is fulfilled, it loses its name of desire. Do you think that will there be any stage when desire will become desireless?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because the deep desires that we have, even for example, for freedom,
Hmm.
it is very difficult to attain complete freedom while living in a society, in a social system. But the desire for complete freedom is, I think, something quite unattainable, as far as I feel.
Yes, 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 yes. sir,
Similarly,
yes, sir.
the fulfillment of desires, that you have, even erotic desire, sexual desire, desire for these emotional desires, feelings, they can never be totally fulfilled. I don't think so. It's not.
Okay, sir.
Possible for me.
When a person has the burning desire, yes, I have to meet God, I have to commune with God, just divine, I have to get divine pleasure. It doesn't matter, pains will come, it doesn't matter. So do you think that is it possible for a man, if he has a burning desire to commune with God, he may commune with nature and may also reach to God? Do you think is it possible?
Well, as far as I know, frankly speaking,
Hmm.
I have not been into this kind of a thing,
No.
into the divine thing.
The divine
And
thing.
I'm a little skeptical about all this.
Skeptical,
Kind of an agnostic
skeptical.
approach toward these.
Agnostic approach. Sir,
And there's a
what-
poem God in which I have
yes,
expressed
yes,
this.
yes. Sir, in our Indian culture, whether it is Vedanta or Ramcharitmanas or any other religious books or
Bhagavad
Vedas,
Gita.
Bhagavad Gita, the concept just to commune with God is given there. So do you believe that whether it is right or do you believe that we are when we are doing our duty, so that is also a kind of dhyanam, that is also a kind
That
of,
is a kind
of meditation.
And if you look at it from the point of view of the Bhagavad Gita, and I am a great admirer of
Great
Gita.
admirer of Gita,
But,
yes.
that even if you exclude God from the entire thing,
Yeah.
even then, that in this world, there's a muhavra in Hindi, Urdu, neki kar kuएं में डाल.
Right.
If you worry about the consequences of your actions, then you will be in terrible, tension all the time. So that way that you don't look or think about the consequences or the results of your karma. Keep on doing the karma.
Keep on doing karma. Okay, very good line. Yes. Keep doing on karma. That is the main thing. And one should have the desire to karma. To do karma.
Even if it is
in our-
desire.
If it is desire. Thank you, Professor Hamid, for being with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Namaskar.